The next panel is about taking an integrated approach to security, so I'll ask Howard to bring down his panel members. So we have Howard Leedham, Simon Whitehouse, Mo and Issam. And they'll be looking at how taking an integrated approach to security adds value. So over to you, Howard.
All right, guys. I can hear myself this time, so the mic's working. That's great. I think, I don't know, obviously I'm biased here, but I think this next session is actually probably one of the most challenging sessions of the day. And we've got together, you know, 4 pretty diverse experts. We got Simon Whitehouse from SGW Consulting, Tim Purpura, who's a glutton. Sorry, look at the wrong one. I thought Simon had sat there. Tim Purpura, who must be a glutton for punishment because he's on his 2nd interrogation from me today. We got Issam Shibany, who's the PreSales head of PreSales for MVP, and we've got Mo Ahddoud, who's the CEO of Chameleon Cyber Consultants, right at the end. So let's kick off, gentlemen. First of all, just to put my own 2 pennies worth in here to try and lay down a bit of the ground, if you like. We all know that security is an ever-changing landscape, but there's one thing that never changes, and that is threat equals intent plus capability. So it's all our jobs to deter hostile intent, probably through presence, and dilute the opposition's capability to reduce the threat. So with that, obviously in the modern world, the complexity of integrity, integrating assets to achieve maximum deterrence is the name of the game. And I would argue that perhaps, you know, the days of the silo are coming to a close. But what I want to kick off with is to just ask what you guys view in your own field. What are the key advantages of moving away from those silos and adopting the integrated approach? And Simon, I'd like you to kick off first because you're, if you like, not technical. I don't mean that in a bad way, but you're not the cyber guy or the engineer. Okay.
Thanks, Howard. So, moving away from silos, I am a big believer in, as we talked about earlier today, that security strategy should underpin the way in which we develop and migrate physical, technical, operational, and environmental security measures. And when it comes to integration, it follows a process-based approach to helping the response force to deliver an efficient security strategy. And big believer that the systems are only as good as the operational response behind them. No matter how much or how little integration, each individual endpoint and each individual sensor has or has not had embedded within the cause and effect matrix.
Yeah, you've already actually touched on one of the disadvantages there, because it's only as good as its weakest link, isn't it? Yeah. Issam, can I pose the same question to you then, sure, as an engineer?
Sure. I mean, I'm gonna put on my integration hat, and I'm gonna approach this mainly from an integrator point of view. So I think what integration has done, first of all, integration is a very big word in our industry. To give it as sort of a frame, let's say we're talking about integrating multiple subsystems in the security environment together. Now, what integration has done to us as an industry and to our clients is solve the communication puzzle between these different systems. So now, for you as an operator using the system, you are not using an access control system alone or a CCTV system alone. You're essentially accessing them from a single point to go through and reach your whole network. This was huge, and this was a game changer. and the last 10 years has only been a proof of this. The second point on this aspect, again from an engineering perspective, is that you approach integration based on events. So it's the architecture of integration is now event-oriented. So for you as a user, when you are using these systems, you're no longer thinking, I need a security guy to look after CCTV. I need another security guy to look after the alarm. Any alarm or event could be interlinked already within the system, and then by the time it reaches you as an operator, the event is there and ready. So this is just to put it in perspective.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Mo, can I...
Yeah, thanks, Howard. I just want to start by calling out the fact that Paul Tennant at the front there said that on the last panel I didn't answer the questions.
Well, yeah, but I wasn't the panelist.
Yeah.
The panel moderator, to be honest.
He accused me of sitting on the fence, so I'm going to try not to do it, answering these questions. So, working in silos. I just want to share a story with you, which is, I think, just exaggerates expectation versus reality. So we were working on a program, digital transformation. I was responsible for the cybersecurity program. The CTO was primarily interested and responsible for the cloud transformation program. And at the same time, we had the physical security guys who were working on a access control transformation program. So what they were doing was they were upgrading the access control. It was going to be a new system. I tell you the vendor, I'm pretty sure I won't tell you the vendor, but yeah, it's a leading edge vendor. And associated with the new access control was a new card system. The new card system was next generation, so it was able to hold lots of additional data on there. It could completely transform the way that the business operated. Because that card system integrated into Active Directory, it then meant that people could just touch onto their computers and not use passwords, so we could remove passwords. It could integrate into HR and training records that meant that people, before they went into our vehicles, wouldn't be able to get access to the control saves, so you could lock them out. The expectation of what we could have done is as big as your imagination could drive. The reality was none of that happened because we all were driven by our own programs. And that oversight for somebody to see collectively what the value would be for that business if all of those silos came together, and additionally to drive some of that capability out of the physical security team's program, they were looking at me and saying, can we have some of your money, Mo? You've got loads of it. We'll have your money because we need that for here. And it's kind of like, well, that's not how it works, right? It's justified and it's budgeted by the exec board, and you've got to deliver and be accountable for that. So there are so many aspects around from the expectation of what could have been done for the business from an innovative point to the reality of what those silos are. Are they being removed? I think they are. I think they will evolve, and we saw some of the presentations today from the Emirates that shows that there are some forward-thinking organizations that are doing that. Is it the future? I very much hope so. Are we there today?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, classic stuff, eh? Tim, I want to push you again on the US side of the house because, and ask you the same question, if you can remember what it is.
What these guys?
Yeah, what these, okay. But also the fact that, the Americans talk a very good game on integration, but especially when you look at some of their, for instance, some of their governmental departments, they're all completely siloed, in my experience. So can you just give me your perspective on
Absolutely. I mean, this morning I heard a lot about integration. We even used the word a few times. I think, Mo, you used it this morning. But, I met a gentleman here this morning, Philip Johnson, you're back there, all right? Yep, how you doing? So the reason I bring him up is that he is a United States Coast Guard veteran, okay? I am as well. And the motto of the United States Coast Guard is always ready, okay? And where I'm going with this is that Sarana said something this morning that hit a nerve, and it was managing emerging risks. And that's what I believe integration can do, in that you're bringing systems together, say on one platform, so you can manage it and manage it effectively. Operational effectiveness, operational efficiency. But most importantly, again, Mo talked about data, business intelligence. So it's It's reacting and being proactive to what is happening, what the risks are, and what's actually happening. So that to me is what integration is. You know, as far as our systems, we integrate with all kinds of things. We don't necessarily do a great job at it, but we do a job at it. But going on to facility management systems, again, looking at the whole picture versus that silo.
Okay.
I'm not sure I answered your question, though, in terms of the US.
No, well, no, you didn't actually. You dodged it again, but
Okay.
I'm going to let it go
Good,
because the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
As it were. Simon, I want to go on to the next one, and the question is you know, what are some of the key sectors that integration could offer significant benefit for? But can I just throw in a bit of a curveball? Can I also ask people to think a little bit about the low-tech side as well, where integration can help the low-tech side? Because something really struck me when the Nigerian general was talking this morning. He said, well, we can't have smart cities because we don't have reliable power sources. So wouldn't it be great if somebody could come up with some sort of integration that could help the lower end of the tech side, if you like? But anyway, sorry about that curveball, but
no, that's an interesting part, and I feel that all different types of sectors. I think it's very difficult to single out only a small handful of verticals and say these are areas where integration has a benefit. Again, we go back to who, what, where, when, why, and how. What do we want the system to do? If only I could. In our business life and in our applications, we are now starting to be faced with that wonderful piece of software called Zapier. And it means that I can now create a Zap to actually automate processes and help take the decision-making process away, or to improve on efficiency and improve on human resource efficiency. If I was going to pick particular vertical markets, when we first dealt with integration as a consultancy, it was in critical national infrastructure. It was perimeter intruder detection systems. It was actually looking to protect the plot extent and the various concentric layers to protect against the critical asset. And we wanted a trigger in a sterile zone to actually make sure that the response force could respond as quickly as possible. But I wouldn't like to single out, only a handful of verticals, Howard.
All right.
I think it's
okay.
I think it's talking about, the rationale and the strategy.
Yeah, that's great. All right, thanks, Sam. Issam.
Well, I don't think time is enough to talk about this subject because it's such a wide subject. To summarize it, I think where we are today in terms of integration between systems, again, from a technical perspective, a lot of the high-level systems now integrate more than 18 to 20 subsystems under them. So essentially everything that goes on within your premises, within your building, on the border, is interconnected. The data that you get from that is not security specific or operation specific. It really transcends into different stakeholders within different organizations. So now you're linking different data together that before, if you wanted to do that 15 years ago, you would need probably 25 analysts sitting in a lab and doing very advanced math. So now you can do this. The ease of doing it and the quality of what you're getting from this really transcends any specific industry. So it's not really fair to say, okay, in retail, this looks fantastic, in military, it looks fantastic, law enforcement. The quality of the information you are getting could be used in almost any industry by a marketing department as much as by a security department, by an HR, or by other departments. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Mo, I saw you scribbling down frantically there when I was asking the question, so I want to know what you wrote down, but B, I'd love to have your answer as well.
I wasn't writing, I was just drawing. No, I wasn't making notes. So I think to your point, smart, I think that there is certainly, in my experience, confusion around what smart means. I think it's a marketing term that's very similar to artificial intelligence. I think what we often see and what we want out of integration is simply automation and orchestration. And many products today that come out on the market have got that capability to do that. So I think to your point, which I think is quite astute around actually not all organizations can take that on board. Not all organizations, I think, need smart. They just need that automation and orchestration into the systems they already have.
Yeah, that's great. Tim?
As I said, business intelligence, gleaning what you can from these systems to manage your business better and more efficiently is what it's all about. So yeah, business intelligence. I mean, we represent one of the subsystems. So when I'm looking at the overall architecture of a integrated platform, but yeah, I mean, from our systems you can get a lot of information from it that you just don't realize. So it's really business intelligence.
Okay, all right, that's cool. Is it, okay, so we've gone through the, what is there, if you like, but what isn't there? Is there anything missing from integration that we think, it should be added? Is there anything like that? Simon, can you?
To me?
Yeah.
Yeah. An integrated solution 10 years ago was the joining together of CCTV, access control, intruder detection, and intercom systems. We have various SMS and PSIM systems. Emirates showed us an excellent modular application-based process that they're actually working to a very high standard. For me, I'm looking for systems now that have crime pattern analysis, that actually take incident data and incident analysis and actually give us the information to say, are our cameras in the right place? Are our systems in the right place? Because in certain regions around the world, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, we have regulation with CIRA, we have regulation with MCC, which we fully respect. We know where the cameras should be in a shopping mall, for example, to comply with regulation. But in other parts of the world, and I'll give you an example, UK cities, the local authorities haven't got a clue as to whether the legacy cameras that were installed 15 years ago and the static camera sites and the fibre optic networks supporting those cameras, whether there's been any displacement or of crime, or whether the cameras are actually doing the job that they were intended to do. So for me, integration, where what's missing and doing it well is to actually take that data and help the analysts and help the financial people that hold the purse strings make more informed decisions.
Yeah.
Issam, what's missing?
Well, I'm not gonna, Simon has a very valid point on this, so I'm gonna take on the user side on this and touch it from there. I think integration is still a work in progress when it comes to interconnecting systems and growing data from different sources being connected to this platform, whether it's a PSIM or something else. I think from a user perspective, we're still way behind in making these systems user-friendly. User-friendly enough for people who do not have PhDs and who are not engineers, that are more maybe security, military, that are using these systems. One of the presentations that passed today showed a very fancy location without naming anyone. And in that particular site I was visiting before COVID, and one of the senior guys said in a moment of frustration, he said, all of these systems are smart, but I cannot use them. I need something easy to use them through.
Okay.
So this was always the limitation that we hope can change.
Okay, brilliant. Mo, we've got about a minute left, so you've got about 30 seconds. What's missing?
Yeah, so just very quickly from my sector, third-party supply chain is also always very difficult to manage. So when we're talking about integration and vendor security requirements, I'd like to just give a quick plug to the MOBOTIX team for the fact that they're really proactive around the security compliance that their product has. It's one of the first vendors that I've seen doing that, so the more vendors that do that, that will plug a big hole in our industry.
Okay. Tim, we got 30 seconds. What's missing?
Real simple, the ease of getting accomplished, the ease of doing it.
Right. Okay.
That's the challenge.
Well, you couldn't be more succinct than that. Gentlemen, that was a brilliant discussion, really informative. I think everybody will agree with that. And, thank you very much for your expertise. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you.